East clincher for the Nationals. In Atlanta, welcome to the rest of the Washington Nationals season. A big accomplishment last night. Now they're trying to sweep the Braves and get a little closer in that season series. But what a night here at the ballpark last night. It was great to be a part of it, and we know you were all excited back home. And FP, the thing that really kind of got to me was the fact that it was a classic ball game, a shutout thrown by the pitching staff, good defense, couple of timely hits, classic Nationals baseball.
Yeah, it was a good ball game last night. And don't forget, that's the first time the Nats were able to celebrate on the field. In 2012, it was in the dugout. It was with a loss. Last night, it was actually on the field. And it started with what I call the Joe Montana of this team, Tanner Roark, a guy that just finds a way to beat you. And that's no disrespect to his stuff, because his stuff plays just as well. 94-mile-an-hour fastball was great last night. But that was all the offense the Nats would need. The two-run homer by Ian Desmond, one of his furthest ones all season long, had a nice reverse dunk to go with it. But what we saw at the end, the pure jubilation, the 1-2-3 easy save by Drew Storen. I mean, that's the stuff champions are made of, and we're getting used to watching it on a daily basis.
Yeah, ground ball to the pitcher, one to the shortstop, the final one to the new second baseman, who's been a good contributor to this ball club. And Drew Storen continues to be the closer we all thought and hoped that he could be. It was jubilation, but you know, the celebration on the field took place for a little while. We heard somebody say, "Let's go." They got off the field, they got the toast from the skipper, and the rest was fun.
Well, it was nice because it was classy. It was act like you've been there before and you're going to be back. They didn't do anything crazy on the Braves field. They just celebrated as a bunch. As Drew Storen said last night, we had him on, they genuinely love each other. It was neat to see that in the clubhouse last night. You can tell these guys pull for each other, and that's going to be big in October.
Meaningful for the Nats to be able to do that here in Atlanta. Their tormentors all of last year and the first 8 games this year as well.
Well, if you're not going to clinch at home, what better place than at Turner Field in front of the Braves? And the Braves were so nice, they actually put on a post-game concert for the Nats. So how about that?
And a lot of guys enjoyed that with their families at the third base dugout. So last night, it was the Nats. But early in the season, not very good. 1-7 in the first 8 against Atlanta. How about 7 out of 10 since? They've been doing everything right against the Braves. So tonight, they go for the sweep. And with the Dodgers getting hammered this afternoon, hey, you never know. A lineup full of guys who played a lot of minor league ball this year could get it done at the highest level tonight. And a sight for a clincher for the Nationals last night. Guys handled it great. They celebrated on the field for a little while. Somebody said, let's go. And they hit the clubhouse, and here we are the next night. And here's the situation. Dodgers got hammered today at Colorado. So the Nationals by 2 full games for the best record in the National League. St. Louis lost their game last night. Giants lead the Diamondbacks 4-2 into the bottom of the ninth in Phoenix. And, hey, they still have a chance to catch the Dodgers. If they hold on to win that one, they're only 2 back in the West. Blake Treinen, 26-year-old right-hander, gets the start for the Nats tonight. He's faced the Braves 3 times, but they're all out of the bullpen.
How deep are the Nats when you could give Gio Gonzalez a day off, throw your bench guys out there, and start a guy that throws 98 with sink? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes deep into this one. The Braves have trouble with him.
Alex Wood of the Braves, 9th best ERA in the National League, 9th lowest opponent's batting average, and look what he's done over his last 9 starts. He's the kind of guy that can give you problems. Faced the Nats back in the 2nd week of August and was solid for over 7 innings.
That's a great shot of the younger Braves standing behind Alex Wood and watching his routine. You don't see that very often.
So the bullpen for Atlanta at attention. We hope plenty of them get to work tonight. Nate Scherholtz is in the lineup. So is Michael Taylor. He'll be leading off. Tyler Moore is the cleanup guy. Could be fun in Atlanta tonight. Brought to you by PNC Bank for the Achiever in You. And by visitannapolis.org. Find it here. The Nats found it on the Atlanta infield last night, right between the pitcher's mound and first base, and a little business to tend to tonight. So it could be the bonus plan tonight with the Dodgers losing if the Nats can somehow beat these Braves. Visit trainsearch.com. Find your local train comfort specialist dealer. It's hard to stop a train. Really hard. So it's 79 degrees, humidity down. Perfect evening. Quick look at the Nats lineup. We'll have a bunch of rookies in there. Espinosa behind Taylor. A little further down, it'll be Souza, Cobernis, and Sandy Leon. And Tyler Moore. He's always hit well when he's been in the lineup in the big leagues as a first baseman. Alex Wood, 2-1, 5 career starts against the Nats.
A fastball 89, he'll cut it at times. A curveball 79, changeup 83.
And Alex Wood can't wait. We're underway a minute early at 7:09. Taylor, 3 for 15 as a big leaguer. Homer, 2 RBIs, and that's a hit if it stays fair. And it will veer to the left of the line. Good idea. It's 0-2. The man can fly.
He doesn't know it's foul yet. He's still standing on first. Just rolled foul, Michael. It was a good effort, though, buddy. You know, right where the grass ends and meets the dirt, once it fell off the ledge of the grass, that was it. It had enough momentum to roll foul. It was a good bunt.
Chris Johnson now can play back with 2 strikes. Tom Hallion, 22-year veteran, the home plate umpire. Tim Welke, the crew chief, over there third. Tim Timmons at Hickok, second and first. And that is way upstairs. Back to the screen off the glove of Christian Bethencourt.
So I've been saying all along, Michael A. Taylor has a great eye, and that was a tough one to lay off.
And we're talking about a pitcher who leans way back, kind of a herky-jerky left-handed motion. Alex Wood, he's only 23, second rounder back in 2012. He's 13-13 as a big leaguer. 34th career start. Tried to bolt the outside corner, missed with the fastball, 2-2.
Yeah, been a lot of talk about how the Nats are putting the kids in there today, and it's a Syracuse type lineup. And that's been getting my dander up a little bit because these guys are all big leaguers and they deserve to be here.
Tom Hallion emphatic with the strike 3 call, as he always is. Well, and let me say one thing. Matt Williams put this lineup out today before the Dodger game started. It's not like Colorado got 8 in the first, which they did, and then he said, okay, let's throw the kids out there. This was the lineup he was going to go with tonight, no matter what happened in the LA-Colorado game.
Well, he's given his horses a day off, well-deserved after last night and what they achieved. And he's given some kids a chance to play.
Any manager in the big leagues would do the same thing today.
But there's a lot of people that have been referring to it as a Syracuse lineup. No, it's a Washington Nationals lineup. These guys all busted their tails to get to the big leagues, and they're all big leaguers. End of story.
I think the response I would have to those who would write such things or say such things, if you want to go out and stand on that mound and try to throw it by a bunch of Syracuse guys, be our guest. And then you'll see how bad they really are.
Well, they're not. They're big leaguers.
Exactly. Right-handed, 3-0-3 for Danny. Man, getting our dander up early the night after a clincher. I like it. The booth is on fire. And there's another fastball over everything to the backstop.
It's a good take by Espinosa. That's close.
And that's showing great discipline.
That could have went either way, Bob. That sounds like it hit my glove.
We have our parabs, as we call them, parabolic microphones back there. Espinosa, right-handed, 30 for 99 this year. And a chopper, they'll even the count 2-2. Kind of weird when I was writing the standings in the scorebook today to take all 4 of the other teams from the East and put X's next to their names. Cincinnati, Chicago already eliminated in the Central. San Diego, Arizona, Colorado in the West. But the Nats have eliminated the rest of the division with more than a week and a half left in the season. And you've got to have a really good season to do that.
Can't you just put a Y by the Nationals and save yourself a lot of trouble?
I take great delight in Xing out those 4 teams, FP. Do not deny me. 2-2, and that's outside.
Target's in. Tried to backdoor the curveball at 79. That one acted more like a slider.
3-2, another long count for Alex Wood. Espinosa slaps it over Andrelton Simmons. He'll aggressively round the bag and go about 25 feet past as Justin Upton brings it back in.
And for the first time as 2014 National League East champs, there goes a no-hitter. Looked like a changeup up and away that Danny Espinosa just went out and hooked over Simmons. But the elevation of the pitch allowed Espinosa to elevate it on the first knock of the night for the Nats.
That'll bring in Kevin Franzen.
Last night, such a special night for him.
First time, huh?
Well, on top of that, Carp, well, we'll talk about it next at bat.
6-4-3, top of the first over. So it's time for Blake Trinan to go to work. Can't wait to see him. It's been a while. starting for the 6th time this year. And here are the Braves. Justin Upton, since the beginning of last year against the Nats, plenty of damage, 10 home runs, 25 RBIs. And right now in the National League, he's 3rd in homers and 3rd in runs batted in. 1 for 2 against Trinan, who, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, has never started against Atlanta, but he's been pretty good in 3 scoreless, 3-hit innings in relief against the Braves.
Yeah, his fastball sizzles in there at 95 to 98 with good sink on it. The slider has been much better second go-around for Trinan at the major league level at 84. And the changeup he rarely throws at 85. 6th start for Blake Trinan. He's allowed 2 earned runs or less in each of his starting assignments as a major leaguer.
And it's interesting because as he makes his 6th start, this is the 5th in a row that has happened on the road. At Pittsburgh, San Diego, San Fran, and Chicago. His only home start, May 6th against the Dodgers. That fastball goes up and in. Phil Goslin, the leadoff man.
Steve McCatty told Blake in the middle of the celebration last night that he was starting today and that Gio Gonzalez was going to have the day off.
Yeah.
And Blake's reaction was, woohoo! That's awesome. Let's do this.
Well, as soon as Gio invited the broadcast booth to the clubhouse last night, he was scratched. That was it.
Well, he needs some rest.
3-0. Goslin in the series 2 for 8, hitting .290 in 36 games as a major league hitter. And Blake gets things back under control with a strike. 26 strikeouts, 11 walks in 41 big league innings. Look at the sink on that 95. Nissan will try to track it.
Well, battling back from a 3-0 count to a 3-2 count. Good late movement. Good frame by Sandy Leon to keep that a strike.
Up the middle. We like what we've seen of Phil Goslin over the last 6 games. 3 in D.C. and 3 here.
Well, let's set the defense for the Nats tonight. One you haven't seen this year, I'll bet you. Souza Jr. in left, Taylor Sherholtz your outfield, Espinoza Franzen left side, Cobertus Moore right side, and Sandy Leon behind the plate. So was telling you what a special night it was for Kevin. It was his first time as a major leaguer doing the whole celebration thing and winning a championship. Yeah, we told you why he wears number 19. His brother DJ, who died of cancer, that was his favorite number. A 19-year battle with cancer. Dave Righetti gave him that number as a Giant. Now he's wearing it as a National. And last night was the anniversary of DJ's death after that battle. So in his locker, a very emotional time. And he said it was a great tribute to his brother to be able to go to the playoffs for the first time on that night.
How about that for baseball karma? Simmons takes one outside, 1-1. Simmons on a 6-game hitting streak, 8 for 21. I was about to say, with that sinker going, he might be able to get a ground ball here. Nats won't be able to turn 2. Simmons has to hit a 1-hopper at somebody to get a 6-4-3. But that'll be a key early to see if Blake can keep the ball down, get these Braves to hit it on the ground.
Well, Espinoza knew he had to hurry once he backed up on that baseball, and it was bang, bang at second base. And that was one second baseman slide into another right there, because if Phil Goslin wanted to, he could have really got Cobernis. He was hung out there on the slow chopper to shortstop.
There's Freddie Freeman. Has the base hit in his only career at bat against Blake Trinan. And he's 2 for 2 now. Broke his bat. Charging hard Taylor. Ball checked up in the outfield, but no chance for Simmons to advance. Freddie Freeman's 167th hit of the year.
I talked to Tanner Roark last night after the game about that sequence we showed you, that big situation with Freddie Freeman last night when we showed you the whole at-bat. He said that he shook off slider about 4 times in that sequence and really wanted to pound him in with the fastball. That Wilson Ramos thought a slider would get him, and even though Tanner Roark said, you know what, I thought a slider might get him, but I just wanted to keep pounding him inside with the fastball, and that was exactly what he did. And like we said last night, handled Freeman as well as we've seen anybody do that this year.
Trinan to Justin Upton, strike one. With a really good hard sinker on the inside edge. Upton 1 for 2 career against Blake Trinan. And a bouncing ball right side. Coburnus, Espinosa, the gun, and it's a 4-6-3 to end the first. Good sign for Trinan. All 3 outs on the ground, despite giving up a couple of base hits. Tyler Moore, Shearholtz, and Souza coming up, and the kids are all right so far. For a guy who, as we mentioned a couple of years ago, one of the losingest pitchers in the minor leagues, second lease on life with the Nationals and FP, he was big game brilliant last night.
Yeah, not really fazed by the bright lights or the big stage. And the stuff absolutely played. Never really got in trouble at all. Just on cruise control from the get-go.
So never stop improving with Lowe's. Career against the Braves now. 5 starts, unbeaten, 1.70 ERA. They're hitting under 200 against him. No runs on 5 hits. Didn't walk anybody. 4 Ks, 7 innings last night. Here's Tyler Moore, and it's in there for a strike, facing Alex Wood for the first time. Tyler, 37 games at the big league level this year. 3 homers, 12 RBIs. He hit 10 with 44 driven in and 44 runs at Syracuse in 83 games. And for Tyler, it was nothing bad that he did this year, nothing insufficient. It was a numbers game for him in this talent-rich ball club that had him at AAA a good part of the year. A little late for 90 upstairs. Foul tip, second K, Alex Wood.
Alex Wood, a little late life on that heater. And to your point, Carvey, you know, Tyler's just had trouble coming off the bench, and that's something that he wasn't accustomed to. And certain guys can handle that, and certain guys can't. It's not a knock on your ability or anything else.
Nate Shearholtz in the 5-hole tonight. 1 for 3 in this series with an RBI and a walk. Nate came in after Bryce Harper left Monday night, struck out first time, then a base on balls, and then an RBI hit in the 8th inning. That tacked on a very important 4th run in that 4-2 Washington win. overall this year. Nate hitting a .190, 7 home runs, 35 RBIs, including his time with the Cubs. And Wood breaking off some serious breaking balls to the lefty here. Then he goes fastball. Pretty good looking pitch. Didn't get the call. Mercedes-Benz will give an opinion.
Well, Alex Wood's opinion was that this is a strike. Tom Hallion's was that it wasn't.
And he was right.
And he was right.
Bethencourt set up well off the plate. Big slow curveball, and Shearholt's able to make the adjustment. Giants held on to win that game 4-2 in Arizona. So they're 2 back of the Dodgers in the West. .90 by him, and Alex Wood has struck out 3 hitters.
The Junior Nationals Kids Club is excited beyond all belief to host movie night at Nationals Park on Friday, September 19th. Fans are invited to sit on the field and enjoy a screening of the Lego Movie on the Nats HD video board. Tickets are limited, can be purchased at nationals.com/juniornats. Sounds like a good night.
Steven Souza Jr. I noticed Matt put him in left field tonight to keep him away from that right field wall here in Atlanta. Oh my gosh, that was some collision the last time we were here. He got all beat up, went on the DL, but back, coming off an amazing year at Syracuse. He was the MVP and Rookie of the Year of the International League, hitting .354. For the Achiever in You, he's our PNC Minor League report. I mean, the number's amazing for Steven there. 25 doubles, couple of triples, 18 homers, drove in 75, stole 26 bases. Had his first big league hit at Miami, April 15th.
And part of an organization with the Expos that always had a great minor league system and young talent at the highest level. And sometimes it becomes frustrating as a player, and you start thinking, what do I got to do to get to the big leagues? You know, Jason Worth isn't going anywhere. Bryce Harper's 21 years old. Denard Span's right in the smack dab middle of his prime. So as a AAA player that's putting up numbers, you could become frustrated and wondering, you know, how the heck am I going to get to the big leagues and stay there? The team's winning. They've won 2 out of the 3 championships the last 3 years. Where's my fit?
Yeah.
And the only thing you could do as a player is keep grinding, keep putting up numbers, and hope that, you know, either you get a chance with the team and the organization you're with, or maybe with somebody else. But that's easy for us to say. It's hard to do.
Got him on the hands. Simmons on the charge. Guy many feel is the best shortstop in baseball right now. And he gets Souza in a 1-2-3, top of the second.
Pitching coach Paul Menard has worked with Blake Treinen for each of the last 2 years. With the Chiefs coaching staff now up here with the Nationals for the stretch run, I had a chance to talk to Menard earlier today and ask him how he's seen Treinen progress over these last 2 years. He said that the big righty has really tightened up everything mechanically and shortened up his arm action. Menard says that Treinen is starting to make everything look the same coming out of his hand, and that's been their goal in working together. The two have adjusted Treinen's slider to make it tighter and tougher to recognize, and they've also worked on the beginning of Treinen's windup, the takeaway. They've fine-tuned how Treinen takes the ball out of his glove and starts his windup, trying to make it consistent on every pitch. And Menard says that's something that Treinen works on every day when he plays catch, when he throws a bullpen. That's always a focus, and Treinen has really made strides in that regard.
93 outside, bottom of the second underway. Jason Hayward, the hitter, facing Blake Treinen, first time. Pitch up, chop to the right side. Cabrera, 4 ground ball outs.
And out of the report, which was fantastic, kudos to Masson Dan last night for a job well done in the Nats clubhouse. He was fantastic.
Avoided electrocution, still with us today.
He's awesome.
A rite of passage. We've heard rumors that there could be a little more video later of media involvement in the clubhouse.
He was great.
I told Dan today, just so you don't get too big of a head, a buddy of mine emailed me today and said, tell Dan Conco he did a heck of a job.
Hey, Jim Cantore does
he'll know next time, Dan. Don't worry about it.
Jim Cantore does all those weather reports in a hurricane, but what Masson Dan did last night, much tougher.
Yeah.
Champagne, sting in the eyes, getting hazed like a rookie, and still keeping it all together and bringing it home to all the fans. That was just a wonderful job.
Christian Bethencourt, the hitter, 0-2. On the corner. Not where Leon was set up, but paint away anyway. And Blake Treinen has his first strikeout of the game. 2 down.
That was great audio on the called third by Tom Hallion, who has the best strike 3 call in all of baseball.
Well,
Let's listen to it.
He did Strasburg's first game.
He might have pulled something.
He sounded like the Lion King on that one. Treinen smelling a quick inning, working quickly here.
Bethencourt looked at him like, was that really necessary, all of that? And he might have pulled an oblique.
This one to short, getting behind it, Danny Espinosa. Guns it to Tyler Moore, and Blake Treinen sending a message to the Braves. I might match your guy pitch for pitch tonight. Different clubhouse guys. This is 2012. FP looks okay now. Look at the mess he is later. You know, from the sound of this, if I didn't see the video, I thought they were scalping you. Suffering in silence, and now here's Coco.
Because that's what we're doing.
That's all.
Yeah, baby,
There's a little more.
Yeah.
There's a little more.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't stop.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep talking. Yeah.
It burns a little bit, but it tastes good. It tastes good.
Go. No trouble. Do not stop. Do not stop.
Take composure. That went down the wrong pipe.
There is no wrong pipe.
Oh, Kevin Franzen getting Dan Coco. You guys look a lot better tonight, both of you.
Gosh, that's just awesome.
Yeah.
For some reason, I think Maston Dan has done something like that before at a frat house in college.
He looked very comfortable, didn't he?
Do you think I could run out onto the field to third base and just dump a beer on his head during game action? Would they allow that?
Oh my goodness.
Probably not.
It'd be a great end to your brief career, yeah.
That was awesome.
Outside 3-0 to Jeff Coburnis. Now at the big league level, Jeff really getting his first official at bat this year. Inserted as a pinch runner. He did score a run in a ball game this year. Now you've been in those clubhouses before. It's an experience you will never forget. It's something you'll never be tired of.
And it's something that you should cherish because they don't come around very often.
Absolutely. And the base on balls. The Nats have their leadoff man on, second base runner of the night. Coburnis aboard, leading off the third inning. That'll bring in Sandy Leon. Sandy 61 at bats at the big league level this year, 19 ball games, 10 hits.
See if Coburnis could get a read on Wood right here. Step off move. That'll shorten up your lead as a base runner. Anytime a guy has a little snap throw like that, it'll keep you a half a step closer than you normally get. But for those of you that don't know, Coburnis can fly.
And that one is right down the middle. Yeah, Jeff Coburnis, some of the best wheels on this ball club. So the Nats, for the second time, have a base runner. Espinosa single in the first, erased on the Franzen double play. And the 0-1. A lot of hitting room right side. Leon thinking about that side of the field. It's into the twilight now and out of play. Well, another guy who was a little soaked when I saw him after the game last night is Mark Lerner. And Mark is with us here in the booth. And, sir, it is great to see you, and congratulations to you and your family for what happened here last night.
Thank you very much. Still in cloud nine.
And hopefully some more clouds to follow. Mark, we've talked a lot about how the team is different from 2 years ago. More mature, guys have aged, they've had that playoff experience. For you personally, how was last night different than 2 years ago?
Well, the first one is that clinching at home was pretty cool 2 years ago. It was nice to do it here, though. They're our arch rival, and it was kind of special to do it here. But this team is, I think you said it already. The maturity level of this team is so different from 2 years ago, and you just feel it that this team could go deeper.
I thought it was nice last night. If you're not going to do it at home, to do it in Braves territory. But it was the first time as a franchise that they've been able to do it, and you've been able to do it on the field after a win. That in and of itself was special.
From 2 years ago?
Yeah, that was in the dugout in a loss. Last night was on the field as that foul ball comes right back up to us after a win.
That's what you dream of, doing it on your home field like it happened 2 years ago. And I still think about that night a lot. But it was if we were going to do it on the road, doing it here was special.
Well, you have a chance to do it on your home field still.
Yep. And hopefully we've got a long ways to go.
Yeah, we were on the bus coming over here today when we found out the Dodgers had gone out to a huge deficit. And right now the Nationals 2 games ahead of them. And I know how you consider important that home field thing through the playoffs.
Absolutely. That's number 2 on the list, is to get that, and then we move on from there. Next week is going to be a huge homestand for us. Need to we need our fans to get out there and support us next week, and we want that home field advantage bad.
Well, it was nice of Peyton Manning to show up in Denver today and beat the Dodgers 16-2.
Yeah, that was really something.
I guess the defense contributed to 2, huh? Yeah, on the safety on the 16.
And the Giants won their game. They're 2 back of LA, so it's still not a sure thing the Dodgers are going to win that division. 1-2. Sandy Leon having a tough at bat here, and he rifles another one. Bob Henley backing off that one. All right, Mark, I'm going to ask you the reporter's question. What was going through your mind last night when this happened?
I said it was cold, but it felt great. It felt great.
Not the best.
I loved every minute of it.
Not the best way to get an extension, but
no. Doug is awesome. He's made such a contribution to our team this year, and it is so much fun to watch him pitch. His speed between pitches, everything. It's just he is really a surgeon out there. How he attacks the opponents.
There's the postseason experience right there.
Yeah.
Jason Worth, Doug Fister, guys that have been there, done that. World Series resumes.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the reasons why Mike wanted Doug so badly, is because he has that World Series experience. He has ice water in his veins when he's out there. Nothing seems to faze him.
He's got a chance to be a 16-game winner for this ball club with a couple of starts left. We'll see how Matt and Steve McCaddy juggle the rotation. Trinan in for Gio tonight. What an at-bat here by Sandy Leon, and on the 8th pitch of the at-bat, a breaking ball down in the zone gets him for the first out here, 3rd inning.
Nice to see the young guys out there tonight.
It is. Getting a chance. I mean, anytime you get a chance to play in a Major League Baseball game, it's a big thing. And now you got the kids.
Absolutely. Well, Souza, I remember from spring training, he had some home runs that were just rockets. And, but it's too bad we got so much talent on the team. There's no place for him to play right now.
Yeah, ask Tyler Moore about that, too.
Yeah.
So here is Blake Trinan. Laying down a bunt, deadening the ball nicely. A little contact there between him and Bethencourt, but down to second base on a 1-4 sacrifice. Mark, did you talk to Ted last night after the game, your dad, and without giving us too much, how did that conversation go? How was he feeling last night?
Oh, he was very excited. But he knows as well as I do. That's step one. What happened last night? It's great, and now we made it to the show, and then we got to go from there. But he like all of us is looking for the big ring. So, but my mom and him were very excited. It's too bad they couldn't get down here for the game, but they'll be there for the big ones.
Well, like I said, last night was a tailgate party. Yeah. That was the calamari, the appetizer.
Good way to put it.
Mark, you're wearing one of the championship ball caps there.
Yeah.
And a lot of folks want to know, is there a way to get one of those or the NL East champion T-shirts, and if so, how do they do that?
Well, certainly I can get it on nationals.com on the store, and then also in our team store. We're loaded up, and the store is open 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Thursday and Friday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday, and 10 to 2 on Sundays. So, but our folks ordered a lot of them, so hopefully there'll be plenty for everybody.
Sharp.
Top of the order, Michael Taylor struck out looking first time. Out of play to the right side. And Mark, of course, postseason tickets. Are they available, and how can fans pursue those?
Well, the sure way to pursue it is for getting a season ticket type package
for next year.
Next year. But there's going to be, I think, very limited single game tickets. They go on sale on the 22nd. But based on what happened in 2012, those will go very fast. So, but the best way to get there is some kind of a package for 2015.
We're in the top of the 3rd inning, 2 outs. Jeff Coburnis at second base. And Michael Taylor, the hitter, looking for his 3rd big league RBI. No score early. Nationals a base hit, the Braves 2. Mark Lerner with us. Shortstop Andrelton Simmons hanging out with Coburnis. They know what good speed he has. And a foul ball. Mark, another one. I know you talked to a lot of people. You probably heard from a lot of people around D.C. and the metropolitan area. From your take, hearing from the people that you do business with and have friendships with, what does this mean to them, to the city, for this to happen?
Oh, it's hard to describe. I must have had 100+ emails last night, and everybody's just so excited because they know where we got this team back in '06 and the hard work it's taken to get it to be this quality of a franchise. And they're delighted for us and our family, but more important, the excitement of winning baseball is just, you just can't describe it. And everybody wants us to have that parade down Pennsylvania Avenue.
Well, I've been here 4 years, and it's been awesome for me to watch it evolve into a baseball town and to see the fan base evolve into just becoming obsessed with this ball club. And I'm sure you've had the same pleasure. You've been here a lot longer.
Oh yeah, it's we can talk about it after the break, but it's been quite a special process to get a fan base because you had to create it from nothing.
So tonight it's Dan, FP, Bob, and Mark on the broadcast crew. Mr. Lerner stays with us in a moment. The memories of some of the torment the Nationals have had in this ballpark, only fitting that the way this ball club's turned things around. Mark Lerner with us, and Mark, the Nationals have beaten the Braves now 7 of the last 10 times. How important was it for this ball club to kind of get over that obstacle of beating Atlanta?
Personally, I think it was important. I mean, you've got to beat everybody to be a champion, and even though everybody says it's just another game, and I think it was important to show them that we're a pretty good team, and I think we've done that, and I think it makes a big difference going into the playoffs.
That's one of the best swings B.J. Upton's probably taken in the second half of the season. Hitting it hard the other way, and Nate Scherholtz with that great arm, a good job of holding him to a single. Another look at some of the fun from last night.
I don't know if you've got to see all this stuff, Mark, but some of the fun and celebration that happened in the clubhouse last night. I love it.
I'm starting to get the chills again from the cold beer.
Well, I love the toast by the skipper. We have promises to keep and miles to go before we sleep. A little Robert Frost, the skipper, getting deep on the toast last night. I loved it.
It was short, but to the point.
I mean, if that was me, I would have probably said something like 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish from Dr. Seuss. So the skipper coming up large.
Yeah, he went a little deeper into the library last night.
That was classy.
This is Alex Wood, the pitcher. 5 sacrifice bunts this year. Not a good stab at that one, and the count's even 1-1. But tonight, what we're seeing on the field kind of tells you something about your organization. Team clinches last night. Gio gets a day off, and you bring out a kid who's throwing the ball, sinking it in the mid-90s, an indicator of the talent that you have.
Well, that may be one of the best trades that Mike ever made, because Blake was actually a throw-in that Morse deal. And and he may be one of the great parts for our future.
I saw today in one of the articles, I think in the Post, that said one scout said the Nats are the deepest team I've seen, 1 through 45 on their roster. And that's why they're equipped to go deep into October. And that's just such a compliment to the whole organization. And getting back to what your father's philosophy is, be good for a long time,
right,
and build from within and have a good minor league system.
We started with that the first day we got the team on May 3rd, 2006, when the commissioner awarded us the franchise. And that was it from day one. My father was to set the tone for how we want to build this club, and Mike was a believer in that, and certainly executed it brilliantly.
Building things
and you
that
need
last.
that. You need that depth now. It's hard to improve when you're not good now. The draft is tight. It's hard to afford people in the Dominican. It's really tough to build when you're down. So we're very blessed that we have the depth in the system to take us deep into the future, hopefully, with quality teams that are contending every year.
Might be good for a long time. I mean, just look at all those flags out there in left center field.
Well, I don't know if that'll ever be done again.
Well, the Braves in the late 90s and early 2000s did have one of the best minor league systems going.
Absolutely. I think they were the premier franchise with developing talent. They still are incredible in the amount of young people they bring up every year.
Mark, one more thing before we let you go, and we certainly appreciate your time.
No, anytime.
Matt Williams.
Yes.
And what he's done this year. Your thoughts?
I think that he's done a brilliant job. We fell in love with Matt at the interview we had back in December with him, and he was so prepared. And he said, "I'm going to make my mistakes. I'm a young guy. I'm going to look to improve, just like the players improve." And he's certainly done that. He's you could tell that after the All-Star break, he had a different comfort level, and that he's been playing around the last few weeks with, probably in the back of his mind, playoff scenarios, and his mind's always working. He's a very bright guy, pleasure to deal with, and we're delighted he's managing the Washington Nationals.
He said something to me last night after the celebration that he was going to finally get some sleep last night, that he hasn't slept all year. And I think, mission one, objective one, accomplished last night, but he's got some more sleepless nights coming.
Yeah, well, he can join the rest of us.
Right?
I don't think I got one wink last night between excitement and just the whole thing last night was just incredible.
With the runner going, there's a play at first for Danny Espinosa. 2 outs.
Probably fall asleep on the plane tonight. You have to carry me off.
So Andrelton Simmons will be the hitter. Well, Mark, congratulations on a wonderful evening last night. And here's 2 more soiled clothes and dry cleaning bills over the next couple of weeks. We'd be happy to have that happen.
Can't wait for it. They're a great bunch, and I think we got as good a chance as any of taking it a long way.
Congratulations again. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it.
All right, Mark.
Yeah, Pete, thanks.
All right, I'll see you on the plane. Or maybe I won't.
Mark Lerner, principal owner of the Nationals. And now it's Andrelton Simmons, who didn't look 100% to me when he was running down the first baseline, trying to beat out a double play first time up.
We remember he had that ankle that he turned on third base when he was actually covering the base as a defender. Chris Johnson was the relay man to home. He was sneaking in behind the plate. He rolled his ankle. And he missed some games against the Nats the last time the Nats were down here. But talking to Braves people, that ankle hasn't been right for Simmons since.
Runner in scoring position, B.J. Upton with 2 outs here in the third. Trinan breaking ball, and he gets the fly ball. Right center, Michael Taylor. That guy could cover any ballpark in baseball. So our thanks to Mark Lerner for a great inning of postseason expectation conversation. No score in Atlanta. Plus for next year, you can have all kinds of experiences, rewards, and access to the Nats. Now get a full and half season plan, and you are in business. It's a launch of a new exciting membership program. 202-675-NATS. Airnationals.com/Nats Plus. Top of the fourth inning, Espinosa, Franzen, and more. STG takes us inside the numbers. So since the start of 2012, 2 championship seasons for the Nats and a 10-game over 500 season in between, adding up to 68 games over the 500 mark, and second by just 2 ball games to the Oakland Athletics.
It's impressive.
Yeah, especially when you look at the teams after Washington. Orioles, Braves, Tigers, Cardinals, winning teams, both leagues. Danny Espinosa, base hit over shortstop first time, and they really play him to pull. Look at the room to the left of the second base bag. Breaking ball comes in from the side door.
Looks like they made a switch with their defense.
Looks like Goslin has gone to short, and then Ramiro Pena to second base. So Anderson Simmons out of the ball game after that second at bat. There's Ramiro. And Danny Espinosa gone on that one. 6 strikeouts for Alex Wood. 8 o'clock hour upon us. Beyond twilight time now here in Atlanta. Yeah, you can tell September's here. Days are shorter. Twilight time come and gone quickly. And celebrations have already happened. Kevin Franzen swung at the first pitch first time. Not about to do that here. He bounced into a 6-4-3 double play.
He was almost as excited about hitting third tonight as clinching the NL East last night.
That's where you put your best hitter, right?
Right. He wasn't afraid to tell me where he was hitting the lineup as soon as I walked in the clubhouse today.
Kevin Franzen, by the way, coming into this game, 13 for his last 30, hitting .433 over 16 games. Hard for a part-time guy to do anywhere near that. This one's to Pena. 2 outs in the 4th.
My advice to him after last night's celebration, when he told me he was hitting third, is hit the one in the middle. It's now time to tweet your photo using hashtag #MassinFanPhotos for a chance to have it shown in our broadcast tonight. That's brought to you by AT.
That quick, huh? Wow.
Let's get it right on there, maybe.
Tyler Moore struck out on a high fastball his first time. Alex Wood delivers. 89, outer half. He's only given up 2 base runners. A first inning Espinosa single. A third inning Coburnus leadoff walk. Every time Tyler's been here in Atlanta, he's had a lot of family over from Mississippi. And he gets that one out to right center. To his left, B.J. Upton. Quick inning for Alex Wood. Wood and Trinan dealing big time in a scoreless game in Georgia.
No score in this one as we roll to the bottom of the 4th inning. Danny Espinosa single in the first. Alex Wood and Blake Trinan going toe-to-toe. Alex Wood's fastball command has been good. He's been using the off-speed. Tom Allen is getting into it. And
well,
that's okay unless you're the one hitting. And then Blake Trinan's sinker has been doing its thing. And how about the 4-6-3 double play by Cobertus and Espinosa? And the look on Christian Bethencourt's face right there as he got rung up was priceless.
Yeah, if MGM ever has that old soundtrack of the Lion wear out, they know where to go. Tom Hallion. 29 pitches, 21 strikes for Trinan through 3. 6 outs on the ground. Freeman, Upton, Hayward. The absolute meat of the Atlanta order. And I don't mean the way pitchers say that word. The way offense can translate from these guys. Freeman a base hit, first time up. .93 to push Freddie back a bit.
But you talk about offense. It's such a feast or famine offense with the Braves. That was their 14th shutout last night.
That was a changeup at 85. He slowed down Freeman's bat. Look how far Freddie still hits a high fly ball. Good pitch by Trinan to keep him in the yard.
And they've been limited 2 or less runs 57 times in their 151 games. 6 times in the last 9, and they're 8-49 when they score 2 or fewer. So, I mean, if they don't hit home runs, they don't win, and that's a tough way to go about it. That's a high highs, low lows, and a roller coaster ball club that Freddie Gonzalez has had to watch this year.
Justin Upton, 4-6-3 double play ball you saw first time up. There's a little unrest in Atlanta about this baseball team. Now 1 game under 500. First time since losing on opening day as STG takes us way back inside a key number for the Braves. I mean, they started 17-7 after losing that first game.
Well, the challenge now for Freddie Gonzalez to get his ball club not to quit on him. And we talk about the Marlins in the rearview mirror. They're a game and a half back of the Atlanta Braves at 73-77. The Marlins could finish second.
Only problem for the Marlins is they have to play the Nats 8 times. We'll see how that works out. 3-0, and the Mets not that far back either. 2.5 back of Atlanta. So 0-8 the last time they have failed to be over 500. 3-0. Upstairs, Blake losing Upton on 4 pitches after retiring Freeman.
Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one tonight, look forward to Miller Time later in the game. That's brought to you by Miller Lite. If you want some stats on last night's celebration, I got them for you. 30 cases of beer were poured on the floor in the clubhouse. 120 bottles of champagne. And talking to some of the people in the clubhouse, John Holland, the guy that runs it for the Braves, been doing it for years, and he's fantastic at it. He said all the guys poured the beer on each other, and it was all over the floor. And they looked at me and said, "Where's the beer?" And he said, "You just poured 30 cases of it on the carpeting. We don't have any left." So they scrambled and got him some more. And 30 cases of beer and 120 bottles of champagne.
Oh, man. There are beer lovers all over the Mid-Atlantic region with tears in their eyes after hearing that.
That's a good way to waste it in my mind.
No balls and 2 strikes to Jason Hayward. Probably a couple $1,000 at least in dry cleaning bills.
Throw the unis in the washer.
I'm talking about innocent bystanders.
Oh, well. Pick another sport if you don't like it.
Yeah. Up and in, 1-2. I'm sure they loved every drop of it.
It'd be funny if they did it in football with all their pads on, wouldn't it? Spraying champagne on each other after a Super Bowl.
Yeah, what do they do after a Super Bowl other than stand on the field with confetti flying all over the place? One guy gets to go to Disney World. Well, 40 pitches here in the 4th inning. Economical production by Trinan so far. 1-2 to Hayward. And he gets jammed and pops it up. 3 times Kevin Franzen said, I got it, 2 outs. Earlier today, Hyundai Hope on Wheels, Washington, D.C. area Hyundai dealers awarded Inova Children's Hospital a $250,000 Hyundai Scholar Hope Grant for pediatric cancer research. This event, part of the Hope on Wheels campaign to honor National Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. Since its inception in '98, Hope on Wheels has awarded $87 million to fund pediatric cancer research. Thank you, Hyundai. $87 million. Christian Bethancourt, the hitter, struck out looking first time. Right side sharply hit. Coburnus can't get a handle and still got him at first. And the runner Bethancourt immediately turned around and made a signal to his manager, Freddie Gonzalez, who's out of the dugout and approaching Ed Hickox, the first base umpire. We shall see.
Well, good play, first of all, by Coburnus. Kind of smothered it, reached for it twice. Didn't get as much on the throw as he wanted to, but it looked like he got him. In the glove, foot in the air. Thanks for coming. He's out. Nice play by Coburnus.
So the field has been cleared. 5th inning coming up. Blake Trinan, outstanding so far. Presents the Friday Fun Concert Series at the Fairgrounds. 2 hours pre and post game each Friday. It's fun to play the DC Lottery. That is not a live shot. Not celebrating 4 great innings by Blake Trinan. But the Nats trying to sweep this series from the Braves and possibly move things out to a 2.5 game lead over the Dodgers for the best record in the National League. So for months and months, we keep an eye on the Braves every day. Now that they're done, it's time to shift the focus to L.A., St. Louis, and San Francisco and see how those guys are doing. Inside the numbers with STG. Freddie Freeman, an Ironman by today's standards. 1,356 innings in the field. The equivalent of 150.6 full ball games. And for the Braves, they're playing their 152nd game of the year tonight.
Well, I think you pay attention to the scoreboard in the sense that you want the home field advantage, like you said, Carr. But you start picking out who you want to play. The baseball gods will determine that. And there's no easy way to a championship. I mean, you could say, well, I'd rather play this team because they've had success against them, and this team they haven't played. No, there's no easy path to a championship.
There are no stiffs in postseason play when you play for 6 months.
The one thing you can keep an eye on is 11. That's the new magic number.
Yeah. Postseason games needed to win the whole thing. Yeah, Bryce smiling. Matt hanging over the rail. That's on the inside corner. Front door breaking ball. Alex Wood. 13 outs. 7 strikeouts now. Ryan Zimmerman's daily progress in Florida. And here's Dan's daily report.
Bob, the Nationals would have loved to have Ryan Zimmerman with them celebrating last night, but they're getting closer to having Zimmerman with them on this roster. He could potentially return as soon as Saturday. He played 5 innings today in the sim game, 2 innings at third base, 3 innings at first base, and went 4 for 8. Matt Williams called it a really heavy work day today. The plan for Zimmerman is he's going to have a full DH day tomorrow, could have as many as 10 at-bats. Then he'll play 7 innings in left field on Friday. One of the final hurdles that the Nats feel that Zimmerman will need to get over is him tracking down a ball in the gap when playing left field. So they want to see him play out there for a handful of innings, really move around and test that hamstring a good bit. But then he could, as I said, be back as soon as Saturday if he's feeling good and the Nats feel that he's passed all the tests that he needs to.
Great news. That ball well hit by Souza. See you later. Look at that. Steven Souza Jr. first big league home run. A monster shot to center field in Atlanta. I cannot believe how quickly B.J. Upton turned around and gave up on that. I tell you, between that and Ian Desmond's last night, those are 2 of the loudest, longest home runs we've seen the Nats hit in this ballpark.
Well, you usually don't see a center fielder give up on it. Like you said, Carp, that ball was hit by a grown man right there.
And now Coburnus pops it up. It's the shortstop Goslin. 2 outs in the 5th. The Nationals have taken the lead.
First home run of his career, and this one just stayed hit. Look, they got an off-speed pitch right out over. You saw the reaction from Alex Wood. He bounced around as soon as you heard this. And B.J. Upton watches the Souza Jr. tater, and you got to get that ball, don't you? That's an easy one to get back, you'd think.
Should be.
You don't even have to trade out a bat or a ball. I don't think here in Atlanta the Nats National League East Championship shirts would be involved in a trade.
Security does have the baseball, we've been told by our sources on the ground. Steven Souza Jr., MVP of the International League this year, and you just don't see home runs in this ballpark land where this one does. Unbelievable. bad. I thought it was headed for between the last two sections of left center. This ball actually had some left to right movement on it, FP, and ended up almost straight away.
And almost to the batting nine straightaway center field, too. I mean, that short hopped it. Look at Ian Desmond taking his helmet off. That's a moment he'll remember the rest of his life. First career tater for the big man in left field tonight, Steven Souza Jr.
Inside the numbers from Jeep. Consecutive road games with at least a home run. The Nats are up to 22. And since 1900, the only streak longer than 96 Orioles. Not exactly headed to a home run ballpark for the weekend in Miami, but that thing would have been out of any park in baseball by a lot.
2 doubles in Miami count as a homer. So they got that going for him, which is good.
Well, at least he can say his first big league home run was a back wall scraper.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, that did not scrape any yellow lines on its way out of here.
And security has the baseball, and
you're waiting for it to cool off before they can bring it to the Nats clubhouse.
And apparently they put it for sale on eBay, so that's not good. 457 feet to right there, and that was pretty darn close.
Left side, getting behind it, Espinosa. He's got the gun, and he throws out Chris Johnson for the first out. 5th inning, not to be lost in all of this. Blake Trinan. So the Souza-Trinan combo looking great.
Look at the cannon from Espinosa, just stands up and lets it eat across the infield. Chris Johnson didn't even touch first base. That's one of my big pet peeves in baseball, just jumping over the bag. What if Tyler Moore drops that baseball and he doesn't touch first?
Yeah, didn't take a peek at the bag, did he?
I hate that. There's no other way to put it. It's not that hard to touch first.
B.J. Upton, a base hit going the other way first time. Hit the ball solidly. Wood, the pitcher, next. Nasty sinker, 95. It's 0-2. Espinosa on a short hop. 9 ground ball outs for Blake Trinan.
$5 beer night, folks. You gotta love that. September 24th against the Mets, but because the Nats wasted so much of it last night, it's $10 beer night. Fans age 21 and older can purchase beer for only $5 Wednesday, September 24th. Some restrictions apply, like you got to be 21.
See the fine print over there? It says while supplies last.
Well, they're gone. Sorry.
And please, folks, do everything responsibly at the ballpark that night. Alex Wood tried to bunt first time, and he just stabbed his way through 3 of them and struck out.
So the truck is telling me, and they would know more than anybody, and I don't think they're going to miss on this one. The 30 cases of beer last night was 8,640 ounces. But who's counting in the truck?
Yeah, how would they know?
How would you guys know? Weird.
Three balls, 1 strike. Little flinch by the pitcher with the bat right there. And now 5 great innings for Blake Trinan. Alex Wood walks away. That's only Blake's 3rd K of the night. The pitcher twice. One of those bunting. So he's pitching to what Doug Fister would call bad contact with a couple of strikeouts. and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals. 55 pitches, 36 strikes by Blake Trinan through 5 brilliant innings in Atlanta tonight. He gets to lead off, top of the 6th. It'll take a minute before the inning's ready. Alex Wood was the last batter, still taking his warm-up tosses. But Blake now has 9 ground ball outs, 3 strikeouts tonight. Let's check out our next 5 at Miami. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all-day games and a 1 o'clock on Sunday. And then a day off Monday. The Nats will come home, get to relax in their own places for a day. The Mets for 3, and then the Marlins for 4, including a day-night doubleheader a week from Friday.
They're going to be sleeping in their own beds for a while, right? There's that big layoff between the end of the season and game 1 of the NLDS, correct?
They're one of the top 2 teams. They'll be hosting on Friday after the season ends Monday. So FP, go skipper on me here and tell me how you keep your guys sharp during a 4-day layoff.
You play inter-squads, and they're going to. So you have Jason Worth and Adam LaRoche pick teams. Everybody just say, I got first pick, I got Bryce Harper. And then LaRoche goes, and then just like kickball at recess. No, they'll have teams, and they're going to stay fresh by playing some inter-squad games. And I think that's smart. You keep the momentum that you have in the regular season. Because if you just show up and take BP and go through some cutoffs and relays and bunt defenses.
Not game speed,
no,
right?
It's not game speed. You got to keep that intensity up. And I've talked about in the 3 or 4 day All-Star break, you can lose your timing as a hitter. So they're going to keep seeing live pitching. And the pitchers are going to stay sharp. Hitters are going to stay sharp.
Now, for an intra-squad game, do you bring in an umpire to call that? I mean, do umps like call balls and strikes, or does a coach handle that?
You could. I don't know what they're going to do.
What if Tom Hallion's available with that big roar of his?
I'll do it.
Swing and a miss on a breaking ball. Strikeout number 8 by Alex Wood.
I'll do it, and you better be swinging, because I'm going to ring you up.
Top of the order, Michael Taylor. Nats box. And Espinosa base hit first inning. Double play ensued. A walk to Coburn is leading off the 3rd. Sacrifice to 2nd. Stranded there. And the only other hit, the Steven Souza Jr. bomb to center field last inning.
So I was talking to Adam Kilgore about this yesterday, the great beat writer from the Post, and he was saying between the 2nd and the 4th of October, if the Orioles have the best record, the Nats have the best record, there could be 4 games in 3 days within 35 miles of each other. How cool would that be for this region? 4 games in 3 days between the Orioles and the Nats playing at home.
Folks, if you don't have tickets, stay away from the Parkway. Up the middle, it is through. Taylor's going to round and keep on going. I mean, look at him motoring to second. Easily beats it. And Justin Upton just airmailed a throw, but it wouldn't have mattered. So Michael Taylor's 4th major league hit. One's a homer, the other singles, and now a double.
He was so happy that he had a single, he really didn't see the double. He kind of was turning around first, wasn't sure if he should go. This was a double right out of the box. As soon as it gets by, Goslin is short. And the Braves fans, as you look at one of the Uptons getting the ball maybe a little longer than expected here, let the Uptons have it with some boos after this Taylor double. See what I mean? He's not thinking too until right there. And that's why you heard the boos afterwards.
Yeah, Alex Wood didn't know he would be backing up for a throw at second base. That is low. Off speed to Danny Espinosa, who has singled and struck out.
We talk about how the Nats outfielders keep doubles to singles. The Braves outfielders just turn a single into a double.
By the way, the Uptons this year, they have 12 outfield assists between them, but they have 15 outfield errors between them.
That has nothing to do with theirs. That's just,
that's my point. Is they haven't played the kind of defense that maybe everybody thought they would. And we got a serious breeze blowing in from left field right now. Two and 0 to Danny, who's driven in 27 runs this year. And a good fastball to the outer half. 2-1. A lot of hitting room between the first and second baseman, even though Freeman is 20-some feet off the line. Pena way up the middle, and that sounded like it hit Danny Espinosa, and it did. A breaking ball, he couldn't get away from it, and he's going down to first base.
We could hear Danny Espinosa's reaction to getting hit, and he thought that ball was just going to go around his back foot. He gave up on the pitch because he thought it was a ball all the way, and it got him right in the back knee, maybe. And you could hear him scream on contact. Here it is.
2 on, 1 out. Danny Espinosa hit by a pitch for a team leading 11th time this year. Big spot for Kevin Franzen. And the defense configuration pretty much the same. A ton of room on the right side. And you know Kevin's got to be eyeballing that against a left-handed pitcher. Because of where Freeman's playing, Espinosa gets about a 25-foot lead off of first base. And running to third is Taylor. He's going to be out. Second out of the inning at third base. And in this series, Bethancourt has thrown out 3 consecutive Nationals.
He got a cannon, and you see the jump by Taylor, not near good enough to steal off that arm. That was a bullet. Tried to avoid the tag with the old swim move there on the slide. I like the aggressiveness. You see the line he had right there. He kind of had to slide back toward the bag. He was a little bit deeper than third base in the last step. He had to come back toward the base.
Inside. Count goes to 1-1. So Bethancourt, when the Nats came to town, was 0 for 7. He's now 3 for 11. So 3 out of 4 in this series, including the last 3 in a row. Now Espinosa running, and Franzen skies to center. Promising inning for a moment. 2 on, 1 out. And we go bottom 6. Blake Treinen back to work in a 1-0 game.
$37 to the Children's Inn at NIH for every strikeout by a Nats pitcher this season. Let's check out Blake Trinan's night. And Ross Detweiler on for the Nats right now. But Blake was fantastic. Spot start. He was told last night in the middle of the celebration, guess what? You got the Braves tomorrow. And he absolutely got the Braves today. 5 shutout innings, 3 hits, and all kinds of ground balls and sinkers. He was impressive, folks.
9 ground ball outs, 55 pitches, 36 strikes. And so Ross Detweiler here. Nats pitcher not due to bat for a while, so this could be a couple of innings for Ross.
Yeah, 3 different kinds of fastball, 4-seam, 2-seam, he'll cut it. Curveball has been much better from Ross. And he's been throwing an occasional split change in there as well.
Braves probably happy to see anybody but Trinan this 3rd time around. And here's the Braves due-up inning, bottom of the 6th, brought to you by Honda, and what they've done against the Nats this year. Goslin in this series, 3 for 10. Ramiro Pena about to have his first at bat. And then Freddie Freeman will try to get him out next year. Line drive, and Espinosa can't get to it. Phil Goslin, 2 for 3, making good contact.
Well, they got a player in this guy, I'll tell you what. Phil Goslin plays the game the right way. He's always dirty. He makes plays wherever you put him, and he's got a nice short compact swing, gets the barrel of the baseball consistently.
Well, he now has 29 hits in 96 big league at bats.
Small sample size, but you just watch the actions and they're good.
That was Goslin's 2nd career hit in 2 at bats against Ross Detweiler. Here's Ramiro Pena. 0 for 3 against Ross. And this year for the Braves, a .228 hitter. 3 homers, 8 RBIs. Ross Detweiler on the mound where he made his major league debut back the year the Nats signed him.
On the mound?
He did.
Or here?
Both. 1 game, 1 inning. They got his feet wet at the big league level in September. And a ball pushed to bunt to the right side foul, 1-1.
I think Pena might have done that on his own. Everybody taking a long look at Doug DeCenzo at 3rd base, flashing all kinds of signs.
Lays one down. It might go foul, and it does. Sandy Leon able to read the roll, and that was crucial because as every roll went, he was losing the play at first.
Well, it's all you need to do is watch Michael A. Taylor's first bunt attempt in the 1st inning, and once it gets off that grass, that ledge, boom, foul. A little cliff right there because the grass is about 1 inch higher than the dirt, and that's all it took for that one to roll foul.
Strike 2. .94 inside, counts even.
Braves are 5.5 back of that last wild card. And they would have to leapfrog Milwaukee to get in there, and it just doesn't look like they can get that momentum back to do it.
Well placed. Tyler Moore knocks it down. 2 on, nobody out.
Good effort by Tyler Moore right here. Just didn't stick in his glove. He's holding Goslin on. Bounces off the bag. Couple steps in a dive. Got an in-between hop. And now you got Freddie Freeman with 1st and 2nd. Nobody out.
Freddie Freeman has faced Ross Detweiler 22 times with 5 hits. Jammed him severely. That's a foul ball that went down and hit Freddie. Great first pitch running heater by Detweiler.
Well, that's where Tanner Roark had his success against Freeman last night, and Ross Detweiler going right in there with the first pitch heater. Freddie Freeman saying, I'm okay. Where'd it get him? Maybe right off the knee. Wow.
And a bouncer. Tyler Moore turns to short for 1 and no return throw. Runners at first and third, 1 out on a 3-6. Nats are headed for October. Be there for 1-hour postseason editions of Nats Extra before and after every game. Follow the Nats on Twitter at Masson Nationals for news, game updates, chances to win prizes. Masson, your maximum Nationals postseason network. Dan, FP, and I will be doing what we can at the ballparks to let you know everything going on before and after games with the club. And Johnny and Ray, of course, will be anchoring from the studio. We'll be all over it, and hopefully it lasts a whole lot longer than 2 years ago. Justin Upton against Ross Detweiler. 3 for 14 career.
It's a lot of ground balls to second base. Coburn is way up the middle. I've seen Justin in these situations just hit ground balls through the right side. He's trying to do it right there.
Yeah. Mercedes-Benz will track this one.
Well, he got the pitch to do it with. Just might have had a little bit of late run to it, a little more than he thought. A location mistake for Detweiler turns out to be a good thing. Leon was set up down and in. He missed away.
Hitter who has struck out 156 times this year. And a foul tip that just wouldn't stick in Leon's mitt.
And a 1-2 count, if you throw one above the letters right down the middle, you might have a chance. Upton will chase high with 2 strikes. And you have a couple of pitches to play around with if you're Ross Detweiler.
And a 1-2 is right in there. That at bat might be a microcosm of the Braves season. All year long, situational hitting, and they strike out a lot.
Well, I wasn't thinking about the curveball right here. Neither was Justin Upton. A great pitch by Ross Detweiler. You remember the curveball to Freddie Freeman in D.C. that got him in a big situation? That one right there to Upton, every bit as good.
Justin Upton probably thinking, I thought they told me this guy throws fastball 90% of the time.
Well, at game number 19 between 2 teams, you better know what he throws yourself.
Here's Hayward. That is real close to the inside corner and just missed. Hayward, a bouncing ball right side. Pop up to third.
Curveball becoming a weapon for Detweiler. Wow.
What a call by Leon if it was his idea.
I mean, the whole bullpen, they just sit down there and event pitches. Clifford with the split. Drew Storm's got a cutter now. Who knew? And now Ross Detweiler coming up with an above-average curveball that really hasn't been the case in the past.
And that hit Hayward on the way through. Glancing blow off his hand, maybe his knuckle. And the bases are loaded with 2 outs.
Got him in the hand. I think maybe the top hand. Forearm. And top hand. Looks like he's having a thumb wrestling match with himself.
Well, bases loaded now. Detweiler has given up 2 hits, hit a batter. And he faces Christian Bethancourt. First time they will match up. One nothing Nats on the Souza home run. Fastball away. The other way. Tyler Moore deflects. 2 runs will score. And now another runner comes home. The hitter trying to go to third. Safe.
But some heads-up base running by Jason Hayward. He wasn't satisfied with just being at third base. He saw the soft throw into second base and took advantage of it. Christian Bethancourt with a nice piece of hitting, and it deflects off Moore's glove. And watch Jason Hayward. Okay, he's going to third, right? He sees the ball trickling there, and he watches the throw into second, just kind of soft, and he keeps going. That's just heads-up base running by Hayward. Sherholtz lobbed it to Danny Espinosa, and Hayward never really stopped at third base. That is smart base running.
Braves get 3 runs on a single. 2 RBIs for Bethancourt. And it's a 3-1 game just like that. Here's Chris Johnson. Swing and a miss on a heater away, 0-2. So that would be 2 driven in. Hayward home on the throw to second. And a block by Leon to keep it close to avoid another run. Detweiler jams Johnson, and it'll be outside, out of play. Well, a couple of balls that have hit the glove of Tyler Moore. Well placed by the Braves in this inning. The Pena roller after the leadoff hit by Gosler, and then that shot by Bethancourt. Nats within an eyelash of this being a scoreless inning. By the way, this is the first time the Braves have had a lead in this series. Right-hander David Carpenter for Atlanta. High and tight, ball 3.
I don't think Matt Williams would use his bench today, but it's a fairly strong one with LaRoche, Span, and Harper from the left side, Worth, Desmond, Ramos from the right side, and as Dribble Cabrera, the switch hitter. It's weird filling out your scorecard tonight and putting those guys in the extra list.
Very strange. Pitch number 8 of the at-bat coming. And that's a guy who's really hard to walk. 22 all year. That's one of the guys that Soriano couldn't retire the other night, leading to his problems in the ninth before Storen put out the fire. And here comes Steve McCatty. Ross Detweiler about to face the 8th batter of this inning. B.J. Upton has singled the other way and then bounced out to short. Hasn't been much chopping in this series, but they're making some noise now. Yeah, Braves have lost 5 in a row, 8 of their last 9. As FP mentioned, 5.5 back in the wild card, with 11 to go, including tonight. And Ross Detweiler keeps missing to that fly open side. Fastball up with some movement. 93.
One more, a little bit higher.
He did. BJ not biting, and the count's 2-2.
Well, what he saw right there was away. That's the first thing your brain sees is location. He saw that was off the plate. So an easy take. You throw that down the middle, it's not quite as easy as a take.
Already had a walk and a hit batter in the inning to go with 3 hits. Aaron Barrett up now. Runner going at first, and a pop-up. The angle is Colburnus, but Tyler Moore will get it as it kind of comes back toward the field. Braves pick up 3 on an infield single to take the lead into the 7th.
I'm not going to see Turner Field too much longer. They broke ground on the new stadium yesterday, and that thing's supposed to be ready by 2017. 3-1 as we head to the top of the 7th inning. Get your tickets now for Saturday, September 27th. 4:05 start, and you'll get that thing right there, Tyler Clipper bobblehead. It's presented by PNC. First 25,000 fans will get a Tyler Clipper bobblehead. That's while supplies last at all gates.
Top of the 7th coming up. And the Honda do-up inning for the Nats. What they've done tonight. Tyler Morris struck out 0 for 2. Shearholtz 0 for 2, but Steven Souza Jr. 1 for 2 with a towering home run. The Nats' only run to this point.
Did you see the hashtag on the promo? Fear the goggles.
Yeah.
I'm not scared of glasses.
It's the changeup. I should say fear the changeup.
Fear the split.
It'll turn you into a cartoon character, corkscrewing yourself into the ground.
Quick
outside,
run.
2-0.
Quick run. He's got glasses on. Everybody leave now.
Anybody who used to follow the American League way back when, remember when Ryan Duran of the White Sox used to pitch, he'd come in wearing these Coke bottles, and he'd uncork that first warm-up toss to the screen, and there were batters running because of the glasses.
Now that I can see.
Ryan Duran.
Ah! Freddie Freeman's got glasses. Glasses, buddy.
Well, they can run but not catch that one by Tyler Moore. A clean single to left. The Nationals' 4th hit of the night. That'll bring in Nate Shearholtz.
Good for Tyler Moore, checking in with a base hit. Stayed on the wood changeup right there and drives it to left. And Nate Shearholtz would like nothing more than to get a hold of one right here.
Alex Wood threw 6 innings, 85 pitches, 57 strikes. 2-1 career against the Nats with a 1.48 ERA, facing them for the 6th time. Nate Shearholtz trying to measure that breaking ball, but it's so tough when the thing seems to start out behind you.
Well, he's one big October hit away from dropping the E in his first name. I mean, guys like him usually big. It's always the guy you don't expect in October baseball games. But he could be Nat Shearholtz with a big hit.
Busted bat. They won't be able to turn 2. They'll have to do well to turn 1, and Shearholtz is safe. That ball just died right in front of Chris Johnson. 2 on, nobody out.
Game on. Here we go. And look who's walking up to the plate. That guy, first home run last time up. Check out some Geico highlights. Steven Souza Jr. First major league home run. Nothing junior about that one where it lands. Little point to the big man upstairs, and yeah, you're on the board, buddy. First big league tater and a hero's welcome in the third base dugout.
Alex Wood is done.
Hit speed 104. Wow.
This call to the bullpen, packaged by the UPS store. Your one-stop shop for all your small business needs. Let us handle your mailbox service needs. We love logistics. Carpenter, Souza, power matchup coming. field hit was, wow, quick hook by Freddie Gonzalez. And evidently Alex Wood agrees. Not at all happy about coming out of this game.
Yeah, could be he's not happy. Could be didn't like the infield single by Sherholtz. But I tend to agree with what you said, Carp.
He's throwing the ball pretty well. Nats have 5 hits all night, but you know, Freddie Gonzalez, his team's on the verge of elimination in the wild card race. And he's got to manage every inning like he's got to win that inning and eventually the game.
Well, you also, as a competitor, want a piece of a guy that just hit one 450 feet off you last time. You know, you want to seal that deal. And I'm sure Freddie's thinking, well, not a good matchup based on the last at-bat, and I'm going to go right on right.
By the way, they've added an error to that play. They gave Nate Sherholtz an error for lobbing the ball into second. It makes one of those runs against Russ Detweiler unearned in the 6th. 3-1 Braves.
Can't give a guy an error for the speed of the ball.
Evidently.
It was a good throw.
Somebody came up with that. All that's important now is Nate's on first and Tyler Moore's ahead of him in the 7th inning. 0-2 to Souza. And Steven with a pretty healthy hack on 0-2. Not sure Carpenter got that ball in as far as he wanted.
It's a quick bat.
Way inside. That'll move you back a bit. 1-2. One of their 3 lefties, Chasen Shreve, throwing for the Braves. Maybe anticipating a left-handed pinch hitter later in the inning as we get down to the bottom of the order. Time given just as Carpenter was about to push off. Breaking ball. Check swing, got a piece of. You know, Steven Souza Jr. is interesting. Not like he's some bonus baby who just came out of nowhere. This guy signed with the Nats back in 07. He's been in the minor leagues for 7 years. As much time in the organization as anybody, probably since Ian Desmond. So that good, but takes that long to get your shot.
For some guys, it just clicks later than others, too.
Yeah. He's not old by any means, just turned 25 April 24th. But drafted right out of high school, Cascade High School in Washington. He had signed with Washington State. Ooh, that breaking ball was hanging a bit. And the name Doug McMillan might not make you say, oh yeah, but to a lot of folks in the Nationals organization, that's the scout who scouted and signed Steven. And Doug passed away just prior to the 07 draft when Steven Souza Jr. officially became a Nat. And he's hanging tough right here. Hit himself with the foul ball and in pain dropped the bat.
Left foot, maybe ankle. Yeah, he hit that ball square. That wasn't a foul tip. You got all that.
to third. Johnson has to back up and go backhand. No chance for a relay as Pena settled for the 5-4. So the Nats get a runner to third with one out.
As we promised you earlier in the game, here's your AT fan photo. I don't think that's a puppet. I think that's actually really a baby tonight. It is. All right. And obviously the game's out in left field.
There's Jeff Coburnis. Jeff Coburnis, 8 for 30 in a September call-up last year. He did hit a major league home run and get an RBI. And he will pop this one up short center. Tyler Moore nowhere to go. 2 down. It's a big out for the Braves, keeping this a 2-run game. It'll be up to Sandy Leon with 2 down. Leon strikeout, fly out against Alex Wood. So Sandy, the switch hitter, turns around to the left side. And this year, that side of the plate, 5 hits and 40 at bats. With a home run, Scott Hairston on deck for Detweiler. Nissan will track it.
A fastball in the outer half, usually where Sandy likes it, left-handed. He's a guy that'll spray the ball around left-handed, more pull right-handed. That one looked like it might have been off the plate. And don't forget, he can fly over there at first base. Souza Jr. has wheels.
Yeah, big guy, 6'4", 224. Medium lead, stretches it out a bit. And the count to Leon now. No balls, 2 strikes. Not a bad 0-2 pitch, moving Leon back. 3-1 Braves. Nats have runners at the corners, 2 outs, top 7.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad play right here if you get a read on Carpenter and go ahead and go. 2 strikes, 2 outs.
Chance of an off-speed pitch.
Yeah, might be a slider right here. Never know. Bigger lead, too, and he's leaning.
There he goes. It is an off-speed pitch, but Leon strikes out. The Nats had 2 on, nobody out. Couldn't score. They've stranded 2 in this inning, 4 in the game. It's our Hyundai 7th inning stretch. About a mile north of Turner Field, the state capital of Georgia right now. Aaron Barrett on the mound in a moment. First of all, kind of fun to see the young guys getting their thing tonight. Blake Treinen was fantastic, and if he's not on a pitch limit for the start, he's probably still in there.
Yeah, I mean, the sinker was sinking 95 to 97 miles an hour. Got a lot of ground balls, poised. You can see early kind of feeling his way around. Hasn't been out there in a while, but once he settled in, a nice outing from Blake Treinen. Yeah.
And Aaron Barrett, the kid who's about to pitch, told me when he watched Steven Souza Jr. hit at Syracuse this year, it was like he got 2 hits every day. The guys in the dugout were just amazed by what they saw.
Well, and the guys in the dugout tonight were amazed by what they saw and how far that home run went, his first career home run. So, yeah, just a weird play to score those 3 runs. You know, balls tipping off Tyler Moore's glove. I don't want to say an errant throw into second, but Jason Hayward's antennas were up after he got hit in the hand by a pitch, and he was looking to take the extra base and score that run.
So Souza Jr. in a ballpark where he really hurt himself. Last time he was here, crashing against the wall, August 10th. 1 month, 7 days later, hits a monster home run. Time for the Bear as Aaron Barrett will come up in the bottom of the 7th, and hitting for Carpenter, the reliever, will be former Nat Emilio Bonifacio. First pitch. It was up, and Bonifacio was hacking, facing Aaron Barrett for the 3rd time. Second time, actually, 1 for 1 with a double career. And he goes heater upstairs.
Well, when you think about the day after clinching the NL East championship and, you know, giving guys a day off, there are no days off for guys like Aaron Barrett. Even Blake Treinen, for that matter. You don't know what Matt Williams and Mike Rizzo are thinking as far as a postseason roster. So every time you get a chance to come in these games, regardless of what happened yesterday, you're trying to pitch your way and or play your way on that 25-man roster. You set the roster for the first round, and if you get to the second round, you can change your roster again. But it's a stressful time for guys kind of on the bubble, because every appearance you're under a microscope. You want to be a part of that squad.
Bonifacio with the Braves, 2 for 6 as a pinch hitter. And this guy gets the ball on the ground. He's one of the fastest home to first base guys in the major leagues. Started the year with the Cubs at 279 there in 69 games. Toronto, Kansas City last year. Last with the Nats in 08. He was traded with a couple of players to the Marlins for Scott Olson and Josh Willingham prior to the 09 season. 3-2, and he chops it foul. Well, Jordan Walden, used to seeing him we are in the 8th inning when the Braves have the lead. He walked a couple of guys in the 8th inning last night, but got a caught stealing, double play ball in a game where the Nats led at that point by 3 runs. And a ball slapped out to short left center. Out with good range is Danny Espinosa.
Nice play. Lots of range. Speaking of range, which has nothing to do with school supplies, the school supply drive on Saturday, September 27th. The Nats play the Marlins. It's a 4:05 start. Fans are encouraged to bring new school supplies to benefit D.C. public schools. That's fantastic. Donations will be accepted at the center field gate through the end of the 2nd inning. That is good stuff.
Here's Phil Goslin. And the Barrett slider goes careening off to the side. perfect on the corner with 84, 1-1.
Wow, that's some late hard break right there in the Barrett slider. That's tough to pick up.
And that slider. Gosselin tried to wait. A little late for it, and the count's 2-2. Jammed him up and in. Here comes Franzen, bare hand, and Gosselin just too fast. He's 3 for 4 tonight.
A great effort by Franzen, and the speed of Gosselin, no shot. I mean, that's all Franzen had. The only chance was the bare hand throw, get rid of it as quick as he can. But when you get back to Phil Gosselin, on a team that strikes out as much as the Braves, something simple as that with 2 strikes right there, just putting the ball in play, an infield single, that's exactly the kind of baseball this club needs. They've been such a feast or famine team all season long with guys swinging from their heels, not making a lot of adjustments with 2 strikes. To see somebody that actually does that, even though he got jammed and put the ball in play, they need more of that.
Yeah. Well, second base job open. Dan Uggla long gone. Tommy La Stella, you talked about his quick start. Now he's down to 256. So they're giving the former UVA Cavalier Phil Gosselin a long look on the infield.
I might give him a longer one like all next year. I'm a big fan. Love the way that kid plays.
Here's Ramiro Pena. Maybe the most damaging hit that set up their 3-run rally. That little bouncer, perfectly placed. Tyler Moore was holding Gosselin, went to his right, backhand the ball, deflected off his glove, and suddenly they had 2 on, nobody out. Barrett missing downstairs with 92. The count's even. That is nasty. Pena thought that was a strike, and it dove down and in on him severely. Strike 2.
But really getting on top of the slider tonight. It's got a great late break. Probably throw another one, right?
I think he's pretty confident in Sandy Leon to handle that, even with a runner aboard. Gosselin will be alert on a 2-strike count. Looking for that downward plane, as you call it, from first base.
Just reading balls in the dirt. You can tell from that angle out of the hand if the ball's going to be in the dirt. You just watch it the whole way. From that angle right there, you get in your lead. If you don't have a steal sign for your younger players, just watch the flight of the baseball out of the pitcher's hand. You can see if it's going to be low. As soon as it hits the dirt in the middle of your second shuffle, you just take off. Something you got to work on, though. And it takes years of practice. But it's an easy way to advance 90 feet if you're thinking about it and looking for it. It's really not that hard.
2-2 pitch. And a ball lifted to center for Taylor. That'll bring in Freddie Freeman. Freeman 1 for 3 tonight. He has scored a run after reaching on a fielder's choice in the 6th. So the Nats have held him to 2 for 10 in this series so far. And he jacks one to right. Going back, Shearholtz, and Nate will grab it right on the edge of the track. Well, 2 innings left. The Nats down by a couple. Number 9 hitter coming up, top 8. Honda. And by Coons, when you're talking cars, you're talking Coons. Less than 24 hours ago, Chief of the Fire Department, Bryce Harper, and all of his buddies in the clubhouse. And now we're going to the top of the 8th inning. Let's go inside the numbers with Jeep and what has happened in the season series. Now, Atlanta's going to win the series either 11-8 or 10-9. But the Nats have turned things around, winning 7 of the last 10. Plus 10 on the run differential. ERA good. And the hitting much better with runners in scoring position. And remember early in the season, Scott Hairston going to pinch hit here, how the Nats just didn't do anything against the Braves bullpen at all. Emilio Bonifacio will stay in the ball game and play second base. And batting second, Jordan Walden, who comes in his customary Hold'em situation.
Yeah, mid-90s fastball, 96, 98. 54th appearance for Walden. You see opponents hitting 185. He got the slider to go with it, and he's going to jump at you. You got the weird delivery we always talk about.
Fastball whistles in 95. Scott Hairston career against him, 0 for 1. Serious gas at 96, running up and in.
Yeah, late movement, 96. Scott Hairston's first time, I believe, to the postseason, too.
And this one skied out to right for Jason Hayward.
Some of the cool parts of last night we showed you in the clubhouse, but the family's all here, and Scott's wife and kids outside, and you know they bounced around for a minute, and then he went outside and found his wife and kids and said, "We did it." You know, those are the things you remember, and then to have the kids in the clubhouse, and Drake LaRoche was in there, some other kids, you know, after it died down a little bit. That's the part that you don't see on television.
This a fly ball, right field line, and foul. A long way to go for Hayward. Off the bat of Michael Taylor.
Well, you might have saw Blake LaRoche in there. The most popular way to follow the Nationals' push to the postseason is with MLB.com app, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy live look-ins, replay reviews, scores, live radio broadcasts, and MLB.tv game of the day. Get app for your smartphone or tablet on the App Store. Visit MLB.com.
Michael Taylor, one-out double to left center last time up.
Good swing right there. Powers to right center. He puts on some kind of display in batting practice going the other way.
That's where he hit his first big league home run at Citi Field in New York.
First game. Got his first hit, then his second hit was a tater.
And Walden with that breaking ball. Swing and a foul tip into the mitt of Bethancourt, and 2 quick outs for Jordan Walden here in the 8th. That'll bring in Danny Espinosa, and Mercedes will track it.
And slider down the dirt. And he thought he might have tipped it.
Danny Espinosa on twice tonight. He's faced Walden 7 times career. 1 hit, a home run. Jerry Blevins for the bottom of the 8th when Upton, Hayward, and Bethancourt are due up for the Braves. And then, of course, if the Nats don't tie this thing right now or take the lead, you know who they're looking at in the 9th inning.
That guy.
Craig Kimbrell received the Braves nomination as the Roberto Clemente Award winner today.
Soft toss and righty, fastball 65 to 70.
In your dreams. Espinosa late for 96. No balls, 2 strikes. Ball's got some pop on it. Popped right out of Bethancourt's mitt.
I mean, there's a term for a good fastball. Guys will tell you it's got some hop on it. But with Jordan Walden, that's true. Every pitch he throws has got some hop on it. Literally. And everybody asks me on Twitter and all my friends, isn't that a balk? Well, apparently if you do it every single time and it's your natural delivery, it's not.
Breaking ball in the dirt. And Danny Espinosa is gone. The Nats go 1-2-3 in the top of the 8th inning. So Jerry Blevins is next. It's 3-1 Atlanta.
Three-0 Braves on a really weird play. And Christian Bethancourt was part of it. The 6th inning, here it is. Ground ball to the right side. Tyler Moore deflects it away from Jeff Coburnis, and this is where it gets squirrely. Nate McLeod flips it into Danny Espinosa. Danny says, uh-oh. Jason Hayward is coming home, and he beats the throw. So Sherholtz flips it to Espinosa. Espinosa throws it to home. And everybody running all over the place for the weirdest way we've seen 3 runs scored all year.
As close as we've come to a Little League 3-run single all year. Kind of crazy. Jerry Blevins. There's going to be some competition on the left side of that bullpen to see who the guys are from that side in postseason play. Now that Matt Thornton has arrived and has done exceedingly well.
Hey, you know what? Chuck's telling me, I said Nate McLeod right there, and we have to give him a shout out because he was a big part of this too this year.
Yeah.
You know, guys get hurt, and you know he went home and got surgery on his shoulder.
Yeah.
But you know, there was a doubleheader in Chicago after the Nats had dropped the first 2 games of that series where he was the star of both Game 1 and Game 2. And when you talk about contributing and everybody getting, you know, to be a part of this thing, Nate McLeod was a part of this thing, and we miss him. He's a great guy, and if he's watching tonight, I'm sure he's watching last night. We hope he gets well. That was a Freudian slip, and I'm glad I did it.
Yeah. Justin Upton, 1 for 3 career with a walk against Jerry Blevins. Off-speed breaking ball, a beauty at 72.
And if you are watching, Nate, I'm still going to take you up on those Michigan football tickets this fall. Hopefully in November.
And try to get Notre Dame back on your schedule, will you, Nate? Come on.
Season ticket holder to Michigan football.
Yeah, he should be. He's one of the best high school players that ever came out of that state. Nate probably could have played any sport he wanted. Fastball. Blevins didn't miss by much. Nissan will have a look.
Maybe just a hair inside. But a good frame by Leon. Could have went either way.
2-2 to Upton, who's 0 for 2 with a walk. The Braves have the Mets coming in for 3. They'll face Zach Wheeler tomorrow night with Julio Teheran. So they get Wheeler, Jonathan Neese, and Jacob deGrom in that 3-game series. Mets are going to try to be some spoilers against these Braves. With that pitching, they could do it.
I mean, in my humble opinion, the Braves are already spoiled.
Swing and a miss.
Washington, D.C. Lexus dealers are donating $250 to the Children's National Medical Center for every home run a Nats player hits this season. So keep them coming, Steven Souza Jr. Lexus, the pursuit of perfection.
And now because of him, the Nats, the second longest road home run streak since 1900. Joey Turdoslavich for Jason Hayward. I wonder if Hayward's hand has flared up on him a bit. He was flexing that finger after it being grazed by a pitch.
Makes sense.
From Detweiler back in that 6th inning.
What was the longest road home run streak in 1899?
Well, they used to go on like 30-day road trips, so it could be 30 or 40 or 50.
and they didn't have fences?
You know, and with railroads, it could have taken 2 months to do that. Yes, yeah, maybe some didn't have fences. Either that or records were not kept that early, which is a definite possibility. Somebody at some point figured it out. You know, this game's going to be around for a while. We better start keeping track of this stuff.
And stats were born.
2-1. Nats, by the way, Franz and Moore, Shearholtz 3, 4, 5 in the ninth. Craig Kimbrell will be ready. Levens with a good fastball. 91 tailing to the outside corner, and the count's even 2-2. And he brings in that slow curveball that struck out Upton, and he gets Terdoslavich for the second out.
Well, Jerry Blevins has been looking sharp lately, and when you get down to it, and we're talking about a bullpen in the playoffs, do you go with 3 lefties? Do you go with 2 lefties? Like I said, every time you go out here from here on out, it's sort of an audition in a sense. And how are you pitching right now when you make up the playoff roster?
Well, with 4 starters, not 5, you would have the potential to have 8 guys in your bullpen. Interesting calls to be made. And a swing and a miss for Christian Bethancourt. 1 for 3 tonight, with that 2-run single that turned into a 3-run play.
And we're glad we don't have to make them, those calls.
An abundance of talent, a good problem to have, but doesn't make things any easier to make those calls.
It's so much easier putting makeup on everything.
Really, and it's so much easier putting a roster together when you're wondering, okay, who might be able to get it done, as opposed to a bunch of guys who can, and you got to tell a couple of them you're not making the team.
That's hard.
He's liking that breaking ball from the side door. Out of play.
That ball doesn't look like it has a whole lot of Mississippi mud on it, does it?
That thing looks right out of the box fresh. To Hopper. Espinosa to his left, and he guns out Bethancourt.
And we're close to Mississippi too, right?
Not that far. How close to Kimbrell? We'll find out. Left-hander Gio Gonzalez. Gio pushed back from tonight till tomorrow. That'll put Doug Fister into Friday. So a time to refire the rotation, get the guys back on their schedules. And Gio Gonzalez tomorrow night will make his 26th start, looking for his 9th win. And an opponent's batting average of .237 against the hard-to-hit left-hander. Nats Extra at 6:30 at P&I from Marlins Park. Straight up 7 o'clock. So Gio in his hometown, last time we were there, he didn't get to pitch there. Like we promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. And how about last night? Here's some Miller time for you. The ground ball to Cabrera. That is a clincher. The Nats into postseason play as East Division champions, and here they came. Scott Harrison trying to rip the jersey right off the back of Gio Gonzalez.
Well, we mentioned in the Open today, that's the first time they've had a chance as a franchise in D.C. since 2005 to do it on the field. In 2012, it was in the dugout. It was with a loss. They didn't get to do the whole pile-on thing.
Right, the dog pile.
And hopefully someday soon they'll be able to do that at home in front of Nats fans.
Jose Constanza in right field for Hayward after Tardoslavich hit for him. Craig Kimbrell, 43 saves. He's blown 4. One of them against the Nats. And the crowd is shocked. It's ball 1.
Well, that's how you get him. He can be wild at times, not very often.
But you know you've had a good time in Atlanta when Craig Kimbrell doesn't pitch until the last inning of the last game, and that ball hit Bethancourt right on the top of the helmet.
Oh, you hate to see that. Concussion's so rampant with catchers and foul tips now.
Hard to believe that catchers used to wear ball caps behind the mask before they went to helmets.
He put his head down, and that's where he made a mistake, quite frankly. See, watch him duck his head down. I mean, if he stays square, it hits him in the mask, and he's probably rattled. But on the top of the head, that's a whole different story. You rarely see a catcher get hit with a foul ball on top of his head. And I'll tell you what, I've been impressed with Goslin. I've been impressed with Bethancourt. They got 2 good young players here in Atlanta. This guy just looks like he's going to be around for a long time. The body, we've seen him throw, the swing. He's got all the tools. Look at it one more time. See him ducking right there? You don't see a catcher do that very often. Just put his head down.
Kevin Franzen trying to battle here. They're giving Bethancourt all the time he needs. The count's 1-1. Kevin is 0 for 8 career against Craig Kimbrell, but he's made contact 6 times. 98 low in the zone, strike 2.
Well, that's where Kevin spreads out and goes slap mode to right, but he might be getting a slider here in a 1-2 count. Nope, fastball away. Now he's getting a slider after he fouled that back. He was on that.
One ball, 2 strikes. And a bouncer right side. Freeman backhand side. Kimbrell covering. 1 out. Johnny Holiday, Ray Knight, Nats Extra postgame straight ahead. Tyler Moore, 0 for 1 career against Craig Kimbrell. Tyler base hit last time. He's 1 for 3 tonight. And a 1-0. He looked like he held. Ed Hickok says he did. took a little bit off. 96 right in there. Ball 3. One base runner to get that tying run into the box. Shearholtz and Souza, the next 2 hitters. And Tyler Moore will pop it up. Bethancourt to his right. Had to do some late adjusting. 2 outs.
Not an easy play. He just made that look easy. I don't think I've ever seen a Craig Kimbrell save opportunity that's been... I'm looking for the right word. Maybe you can help me. They're usually pretty intense, right? You're thinking, are they going to get this guy? Is he going to blow one? Are you behind to the Braves again? It's just after last night, it's okay.
I'm not used to seeing one without a strikeout. Hasn't had one yet. Here's Shearholtz. And Nate goes up hacking. 2 for 4 career against Kimbrell. Wouldn't you love to see him get aboard just to see Souza and this guy battle?
Sure, I'm in.
Fastball, right side, and the Braves will salvage one the night after the Nats eliminate them. 2 hours and 43 minutes. Atlanta wins at 3-1. So it's on to Miami. More from Turner Field in a moment.